Here's another hidden gem in this large box set. Going into this series, I was really expecting only a few select good films, but something like I Bury the Living comes out of nowhere, giving a suspenseful, thrill-seeking adventure. This 1958 film was directed by Albert Band, also known for directing Ghoulies 2 and Dracula's Dog. Okay, I gotta see that movie. Anyways, I was looking to see if the director or writer, Louis Garfunkel, who won an Oscar for The Deer Hunter, ever had any involvement with the Twilight Zone, because this movie is basically an episode of the Twilight Zone, except neither of the creators ever did anything for the TV series. In fact, this movie predates the series by 1 year. Sorry to get off track, but if you see this movie, you'll agree with the statements. The movie stars Richard Boone as Robert Kraft, who works for a council that oversees the local cemetery. After Robert is given the duty of looking over the grounds weekly, he meets up with the kooky Andy McKee, who's the groundskeeper and happens to be Scottish. Okay, was that an influence for groundskeeper Willie?
This is where the map comes in. One look and quick as a wink, you know who's where and what's what.
Robert looks at the map of the cemetery, scattered with white pins for empty graves and black pins for burials. Robert then discovers that when he switches a pin from white to black, the person who purchased that lot ends up dead. Robert continuously tests this supernatural power, concerned with what he's done and how to put an end to it. I don't dare give away anything past that, I just tell you to go watch this movie. For starters, the story is very engaging, and while it's mostly consisting of Robert proving to people what he can do while people remain doubtful, Richard Boone carries the film with his subtle portrayal of a man slowly going insane. He's amazing in this film, on the same level of a performance you'd see in a Hitchcock film. Speaking of Hitchcock, the film emulates a lot of the film techniques used in Vertical. I'd call it an inspiration, but the film came out the same year, so great minds think alike, I suppose. The map of the graveyard is embedded in my mind forever. It's so intriguing to look at, and as Robert becomes more paranoid, the map itself grows larger in size. It's a very meticulous detail to add to the film. Being only 87 minutes long, it's a very easy watch, even for modern film goers. It's very well paced, and like I said, it's very similar to The Twilight Zone. I wouldn't be surprised if it was an influence on Rod Serling. It influenced other thrill creators because Stephen King himself has declared it to be one of his favorite films. Before watching this movie, I was expecting some kind of cheesy zombie flick, but after seeing it, I'm beginning to think this is my favorite movie on this box set so far. The film does have scars of a low budget. Besides a great scene of him running through the graveyard, most of the shots are pretty basic, like a TV show. Some of the effects are funny, especially this compositing done to make the hands on the clock move. It's also funny to me that the groundskeeper is receiving a pension. Like, yeah, that's the good old days when a job like that received a pension.
It's high time we retired you. Nothing to worry about. Full pension, you draw the same check every month.
I'm to be paid for nothing from now on.
Also, apparently this is a picture of John Wilkes Booth. Why is that in there? What was the director trying to say with that? The only thing is, the twist does kind of come out of nowhere. If you're hoping for some big climax that satisfies the build-up, it's not really here. It's not a bad ending, but it just seems like a cop-out. However, you could argue that the ending, in a way, is ambiguous, in that while there's definitely a conclusion to be made about the supernatural aspect of the story, technically there's an unanswered question which can lead to an interesting ambiguity. I recommend this film. It's by far the best film on this box set yet, and it's a perfect flick for this time of year. Give it a watch. I mean, it's in the public domain, so find it on YouTube.